Welcome back to the show. Russ Evans with you, Golf Exchange, presented by the Honda Classic. And right now, very pleased and honored to be joined by Lieutenant General Bill Ely, who is a 98-year-old avid golfer from Boynton Beach. Mr. Ely, good morning to you. Thanks for joining me.
Good morning, Russ.
Well, I know that you've shot your age more than a few times. When was the first time that you shot your age on the golf course, and how many times have you done it since?
Well, I really didn't record the first time. I suppose it happened when I owned a golf course. After the war, my wife and I designed and built a golf course outside Pittsburgh. I once had the course record there at 64, but it didn't last long. That was back in 1980. But I never kept a record of when I shot my age first until I started doing it regularly in 1987.
So in 1987, you started recording each time that you shot your age or bettered your age, and that was 23 years ago. And so how many times in the last 23 years have you done it?
I figure I did it about in 2005.
So 2005 times total, you're saying?
That's it.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Now, of course, you're 98 years of age today. I'm assuming you're still doing it on a regular basis.
No.
No?
My health has deteriorated in the last 3 or 4 months. I haven't hit a ball in 3 months. I've got neuropathy in my feet, and I'm more and more dizzy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, General Ely.
My golf days are over. Let's put it that way.
Is that right?
That's correct.
Oh, well, that's too bad. But the history of your golf game is quite impressive. In your best days, and you mentioned that you designed a course with your wife and you owned it for a while, and you had the course record of 64, which is a phenomenal score. In your best days, what was your handicap?
The best I ever had was at 3. That was back when I was in St. Louis after the war. I worked for an engineering firm. We belonged to Old Warson. If you know Old Warson, it was one of the 100 best for several years. And I was playing my best golf, I would say, at that time, which is back in 1970 to 1975.
Wow, a 3 handicap at one point. That is phenomenal. And we're speaking with Lieutenant General Bill Ely, 98-year-old avid golfer from Boynton Beach. He's a member at Quail Ridge Country Club in Boynton, and he has shot his age or better over 2,000 times throughout his life on the golf course. Russ Evans with you, Golf Exchange, presented by the Honda Classic. And I read that you played around with Jay Sigel, former U.S. Amateur Champion and Champions Tour Pro. What was that like?
I like to think that Jay and I are very good friends. You know, he would come to Quail Ridge often, and he wanted me as a partner, and we did very well in little games with scratch golfers. Quail Ridge, you know, has probably 100 golfers with handicaps of less than 10.
Wow.
And we always had a good outing. Jay, as you may or may not know, is one of the finest individuals in the golf world, with a record that's unbelievable.
General Ely, obviously referring to you and your title, Lieutenant General, and that tells me that you were in the Army. I know General is an Army rank. What were your years like with the Army, and did you ever see any combat? I
had 33 years in the Army, graduated from West Point in 33, and had 33 more years. And during World War II, I was with 6th Army Headquarters, starting in Australia and ending up, we went to Australia, New Guinea, the Philippines, and Japan. I was in a 6th Army Headquarters, so I was not with a rifle on my shoulder or something, but I had a few incidents that I'd rather not talk about.
Well, did you have some good instances? Do you have some fond memories of your time in the service?
My wife was born as an Army brat. Her father was a colonel, graduate of West Point, so the two of us, we really enjoyed our service life. She knew the service better than I did when I came in, and we recently had our 70th wedding anniversary at Quail Ridge. So, yes, we've enjoyed life, including the many years in the service.
70 years of marriage. That is phenomenal. Congratulations to you and your wife. That's quite an accomplishment.
We've enjoyed it all.
Speaking with Lieutenant General Bill Ely, 98-year-old avid golfer from Boynton Beach. He's a member at Quail Ridge Country Club. He served over 30 years in the Army and attended West Point. And you took up the game shortly after you left West Point in 1929, and I read that you owned the distinction of winning the club championship at the Army-Navy Country Club in Washington at 4 different ranks, when you were a colonel, a brigadier general, major general, and lieutenant general. So that's quite another accomplishment.
I was lucky, I guess. Army-Navy Country Club, as you know, has, I think, about 70,000 members. Most of them are, of course, overseas, but when they come there, they play golf. And I must have been there when the competition was, although I was playing a lot and good golf. So, yes, I did that, and I'm proud of it.
You know, I'm curious, all your years playing golf in D.C. at Army-Navy Country Club and all your years in the service, did you ever play with a president or perhaps somebody in the military that the name we'd recognize?
I watched Omar Bradley play, but I never played with him. He had quite a game. No, I don't recall that I ever played with any dignified person. I did have one thing that I did was in 1966. I played in the Bing Crosby tournament out in Monterey, California. Do you remember it used to be called the Bing Crosby?
Absolutely. Nowadays it's the Pebble Beach National Pro-Am, but yeah, for years it was the Bing Crosby Clam Bake. What was that like?
It was fun, of course, but I had a pro. My partner was a pro. I never heard from before or since. We played well. I might say the third day we played at Pebble Beach, and we were the first off, and the first 3 greens were frozen. Of all the times that I played golf, probably those 3 or 4 holes were as memorable as any.
And in all these years of playing golf, I assume you had a couple of hole-in-ones. How many of those have you had?
I've had 9 holes in one.
Any of those stick out in your mind more than some of the others?
I guess the first one was at Army-Navy Country Club when I thought I'd missed the green, but when I got up there, I had hit the pin and it had dropped in. So it was a par 3, the 18th at Army-Navy. Is still, I think, a par 3.
Speaking with Lieutenant General Bill Ely, 98-year-old avid golfer from Boynton Beach. He's a member at Quail Ridge Country Club, and he has shot his age or better more than 2,000 times in his life. And I mentioned shooting your age or better. What was the occasion that you shot so much lower? I guess the question is the biggest differential, your age, and then your score was how many strokes below your age. Do you remember what day that was and what the number was?
I shot 16 strokes below my age when I was 90. I shot a 74 at Quail Ridge when I was 90. I still have the scorecard.
That is phenomenal. You know, I'm an avid golfer. I've played probably about 12 or 13 years, and I'm about a 14 handicap, and I'm 34 years old, and I've never broken 80, never shot in the 70s, and here you are 8 years ago at the age of 90. You shot a 74. I find that phenomenal. That simply is, to me, phenomenal.
Well, it's one of those days.
It's unfortunate for me to hear that it sounds like you won't be having more of those days. That most of your golfing days are probably over with the health issues. And
I'll be 99 in December. I'm seeing too many doctors. They don't leave time for golf.
Well, do you still get out maybe to putt on the putting green or play a couple of holes or hit the driving range?
Not in several months. I've just been I've got a dizziness problem that won't go away.
Well, Lieutenant General Ely, it sounds like you've led quite a remarkable life, and I congratulate you on so many different things, including your 70 years of marriage and time in the service and shooting your age or better over 2,000 times. Congratulations. Thanks so much for joining me. I really appreciate it.
Okay. Happy to do it if it'll help you in Quail Ridge.